The email arrived at 6:12 in the morning. Subject line, "Final copy of the will." I opened the attachment on my phone while the coffee machine was still dripping behind me. The estate lawyer had sent a scanned PDF with a short message underneath. Per your parents' request. I scrolled once, then again. Everything, every account, every property was assigned to my younger brother. My name appeared once, at the bottom, under a section labeled "No Further Distribution." I had to grab the counter. This is an inheritance revenge story, not about a family falling apart, about what happens when someone assumes you won't look closely enough to notice. I noticed. The house alone was worth about $850,000. My parents also owned 2 rental properties and a brokerage account that had crossed 7 figures years ago. The document transferred all of it to my brother Aaron. A short paragraph mentioned me. It said I had already received sufficient lifetime support. I read that line 3 times. For most of our lives, my parents had insisted everything between Aaron and me would be equal. Equal college funds, equal help with our first apartments, equal birthday checks even after we were adults. I paid off my student loans by 30, saved carefully, eventually bought a condo. Aaron moved back home 3 separate times before turning 30. He just needs a little more time, my parents always said. So when they mentioned updating their will a few years earlier, I didn't worry. Just paperwork, my dad said. I believed him. I downloaded the file to my laptop and opened it again, page by page. Slowly, the wording was precise. Aaron, sole beneficiary, every account, every property. I emailed the lawyer that night. Just one question. Was the will recently updated? 2 hours later, he replied, "Yes, your parents requested a full revision last month." No explanation. The numbers kept running through my head. House, 2 rentals, brokerage account, easily over $2 million, all assigned to Aaron. I told myself parents were allowed to structure their estate however they wanted, but something about the wording bothered me, especially one phrase, "All real property owned solely by the estate." Solely. That word stuck, because the house wasn't always structured the way the will described. 7 years earlier, my father refinanced the mortgage. He asked me to come over one evening to sign paperwork. "It'll make things easier later," he said. We sat at the kitchen table. When it was done, the title company mailed copies of the recorded deed. At the time, I barely thought about it, but I remembered one detail clearly. My name had been on that paperwork. I opened my document backup folder, typed deed into the search bar. 3 files appeared. I opened the one labeled property title, recorded copy. My parents' names appeared first, then mine, listed as joint owner with right of survivorship. I zoomed in on the signature page. My signature. Dated 7 years earlier. I told myself maybe it had been updated later. Maybe the deed had been replaced without me noticing. So I opened the county property records website and typed in my parents' address. 3 names loaded on the screen. My mother, my father, and me. No newer filings, no updated deed, no transfer removing my name. Just the original refinance record from 7 years earlier. I leaned back in my chair, The will said Aaron inherited the house, but the county record said something different. All real property owned solely by the estate. The house wasn't solely theirs. It belonged to 3 owners, which meant Aaron couldn't inherit full control of it through a will. Ownership would follow the deed instead. I took screenshots of the county record, saved the scanned deed in a separate folder. Then I called a real estate attorney the next afternoon. No anger, just facts. I emailed him the will, the deed, and the county record screenshots. He reviewed them while I waited on the phone. After a minute, he said something simple. The house doesn't pass through the will. The tension that had been sitting in my chest all week finally loosened. The attorney explained how the ownership structure worked. When one owner passed away, the remaining owners retained their interest. My parents had rewritten the will, but they had never updated the deed. The next steps were procedural. No confrontation, no accusations, just documentation. The attorney filed a notice confirming my ownership interest. He also requested copies of the estate filings. A few days later, Aaron called. His voice sounded strangely confident. He had already spoken with the estate lawyer. He told me he was planning to sell the house quickly. The market's high right now, he said. He talked about renovations, listing timelines, how the sale would simplify everything. He clearly believed the house belonged entirely to him. He hadn't checked the county records. He hadn't seen the refinance deed. That confidence lasted about another week. Then the estate lawyer called him. Aaron called me again 2 days later. This time his voice sounded confused. He had been told there was an ownership complication. Something about a third name still attached to the property. He asked if I knew anything about it. I told him the truth. My name was still on the deed. There was a long pause on the phone. My parents had apparently assumed the refinance paperwork had been updated later. It hadn't. And the title company confirmed something important. Both owners had to approve any sale, which meant me. For the first time since the email arrived, the balance shifted. Not emotionally, procedurally. The final estate paperwork closed 3 months later. The brokerage account transferred to Aaron. The rental properties transferred to Aaron. Every financial asset listed in the will followed exactly as written. But the house remained divided. Aaron eventually called again. He asked if I would consider selling my share. He said buyers were offering strong prices in the neighborhood. I told him I wasn't ready yet. For now, my name stays where it already is, on the title. The county record still shows the original ownership. 3 names once, 2 now, and the document they forgot to change. My parents rewrote the will carefully. They covered every account, every financial asset. They assumed they had covered the house too. They forgot about the deed. People always assume the quiet ones won't look. I've heard that from others who've been through it too, and their stories are just as precise.